Om. Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining for this beautiful Thursday morning yoga class. I hope that you're all doing amazing. My name is Paisley and thank you so much for joining me today for your practice. Find a spot on the floor, on your mat, anywhere inside or outside of your house where you will not be disturbed to enjoy your practice for the next 30 to 40 minutes or so. And grab a blanket or a pillow. If you have a blanket, you can fold it multiple times. Bring that right underneath your sits bones, your hips, pelvic girdle, and find a comfortable seat on the floor. Today's practice will be moderate, all levels yoga, a little bit shorter class today. So once you've gotten yourself set up, settle in here, finding a cross-legged seated position. If your knees are bothering you, you can also sit up with a pillow underneath your pelvis or fold the blanket again to give you some more height and sit that right underneath your hips. Sitting up tall into a hero's pose here, another option. You can also do this sitting in a chair. So coming to a tall spine, stacking shoulders over hips, head over shoulders. Imagine someone has a string attached to the crown of your head and is pulling you up by that string. You can gently bring the eyes to a close, taking a few moments here to ground down into our heart space, into this present moment for our practice. Bringing the hands to the heart center, take your awareness down to your hips and pelvis, to the space where your lower body meets the floor, mat, or chair, if you're sitting on a chair, or the block or blanket. Just bringing the awareness to the lower part of the body, feeling the connection there, where your body ends and the floor supporting you begins. And then drawing the crown of the head up continuously. So one long line of energy from the tailbone resting at the earth, drawing all the way up through the crown of the head and shining out through your skull. Aligning all 7 chakras, the 7 energy centers that reside in your spine, correspond to different major organ systems in the body. Beginning to deepen the breath here, drawing inhales down as we expand the belly, full expansion of the chest and lungs, and exhale to fully expel the air out, gently drawing the navel to spine, emptying out. Continuing this deep inhale, belly expands, chest expands. At the top, see if you can sip in just a little bit more air. And exhale, slow, smooth, releasing all the breath out. Navel gently draws into spine. Continuing this breath with your own pace this morning. Inhale, opening, expanding like a balloon, and exhaling, deflating, belly draws in. See if you can make each breath fluid, inhales flowing into exhales, exhales flowing into inhales. So smooth that there's very little pause in between. Really pressing down through the hips and engaging the belly muscles here. Just beginning our practice with conscious breathing. Most of the time we're breathing very passively, and a lot of us have the tendency to breathe very shallow. But we bring conscious awareness to the breath in yoga and meditation. This is actually the most important part of our yoga practice. Consciously deepening, controlling the breath. It is said that if we can control and calm the breath pattern, we can control and calm the thought waves in the mind. And that will bring us more peace and serenity in our daily lives. Few more breaths deep. Inhale, full, slow, smooth. Completely filling the breath, the lungs with breath. And exhale, slow, smooth. Completely expelling the air. Keeping the hands at heart center, we'll fully exhale together. And we'll take an inhale to create the divine sound of Om. So full deep inhale. Allowing the vibration to reverberate through the skull and the entire body. Cleansing our practice environment with sound, vibration of peace, purity, and introspection. And taking a moment to set an intention for your class today, for your personal practice. Can be as simple as, I am serene. I am peaceful. I am calm. And then gently moving forward, we'll remove whatever was underneath our hips and create a tabletop position here. So wrists are directly underneath the shoulders, knees are directly underneath the hips. You can lift the tops of the feet and then gently press them down into the mat, spreading through all 10 toes. Really pushing the mat away from you so that you're engaging the core and belly muscles, engaging the chest, and starting to puff up ever so slightly through the back of the heart center here. We'll exhale, drawing navel to spine, and then inhale, rounding up, looking gently up for a cow pose. Exhale, expelling the air, navel draws to spine as we round our forehead toward the knees, pushing the back of the heart up toward the sky. Inhale, cow, rounding, drawing the tailbone toward the sky as we look up to the ceiling. Exhale, pushing the mat away. Continuing this movement with your breath, cat and cow. On each inhale, really using the fingertips to traction the mat as if you're trying to pull the mat with your hands toward your knees. And exhaling, really pushing the mat out and away from you, puffing up through the back of the heart space as you push the floor away, full engagement of the arms. And continuing to wave the spine, waking up the back body, bringing fresh blood and prana into the spine, the location of those 7 energy centers. And allowing some intuitive movement here, perhaps taking circles with the hips in one direction and the other. You can wave the spine in a C shape, looking back over the heels to one side and the other. You can bring the movement into the shoulders. Really just listening to your body's intuitive guidance, whatever feels great to you today. Anything I say in our class today is only a suggestion. Please listen to your body. Your body will tell you what it needs, and you are your own best teacher. Now tucking the toes underneath and gently starting to sit back toward the heels. So this can start to get really intense in the soles of the feet. If it's too intense, you can stay somewhere like this. Otherwise, gently sitting back to come up tall with the weight resting onto the toes. You can lift up for a moment and spread all 10 toes, spread them wide, send them back down onto the mat, and find a little side-to-side motion here, just waking up the soles of the feet, breathing into that space. It can be quite intense, especially those of us who work service jobs, standing all day. This area can be very sore and tight. Just breathing the love in. And then feel free to stay with this if it's comfortable. If it's not comfortable, you can come back to sitting on your blanket or pillow with the hips propped up. I'm going to be on my toes. And we'll bring the arms out alongside us, belly engaged. Again, imagining that string pulling you up toward the sky. We'll inhale, arms reaching up, look up. Exhale, arms reach down, look down. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, looking down. Imagine someone is grabbing hold of your wrists and pulling the wrists away from your body. Moving the arms as if moving through water, creating your own resistance. Finding internal and external rotation of the arms here, so thumbs can spin out and down away from the body on the exhale, and out behind the body on the inhale. So palms down, exhale, palms up, inhale, and just following the hands with the gaze. So creating fluid movement again here, mind-body connection, mind-body breath connection when you incorporate the inhale and exhale in the movement. One breath per movement. Stick out the tongue, on the exhale. One more deep inhale, expanding belly. Reaching up, exhale, stick out the tongue. Beautiful. Touching the fingertips down to the mat. Again, if it's getting too intense on your toes, you can modify any way you'd like. I'm going to just sit on my heels here with my toes tucked underneath the body, so no more weight on the toes. And just taking a moment with one hand over my heart and one on my belly to find balance within myself here. And then inhale, arms come long. Exhale, left hand to right knee. Spine coming tall, right hand back behind the body. And exhale, twisting over. Inhale, spine coming long. Exhale, twisting, looking over that right shoulder. Inhale, tall, and exhale, twist. One more inhale to unravel, and exhale, other side. So right hand to left knee now. Inhale, spine comes long. Exhale to twist, looking over that left shoulder. Inhaling long, exhaling, twist. Inhale long, and exhale, twist. One more inhale. We'll exhale, unravel. Bring the hands across the body. Give yourself a nice hug. Trying not to bump my microphone here. So you can walk the hands as far along the back as you can and give yourself a nice big squeeze. Smile. You can even sway side to side here. One more inhale. Exhale, unravel, opening the heart, shining the heart up toward the sky. Exhale, other arm on top. We'll give ourselves a nice hug. Here, drawing belly to spine. Inhale, opening up, shining the heart up toward the sky. Exhale, first arm on top again. So continuing this motion with your breath. Inhale, opening. Exhale, hugging in. Even, if you can reach, give your back a little bit of a massage here. Opening, inhale, shining heart up toward the sky, looking up if that's comfortable on your neck. And exhale, rounding, hugging in. One more inhale, pulling the fingertips back and open, really stretching out through the full length of the arms. And exhale, one last hug. And then releasing everything down. And we'll make our way back into our tabletop position here. From tabletop, curling the toes under, starting to lift the knees just an inch, maybe 2 inches off the mat. Bringing the shoulders, again, directly over the hips. Bringing the shoulders over the wrists, my bad. And hips over the knees. Belly engaged as you keep yourself up here. And exhale, set it down. You can bring the knees wide, big toes to touch for a child's pose. Forehead down to the mat. Breathing deeply in child's pose, releasing everything down, surrendering the weight of the head. And then inhale, looking up at the hands. You can walk one set of fingertips out and then the other. Back and forth, breathing into the stretch in the armpit region. Side body here. You can find a little sway side to side. Opening up underneath the arms. You can knead the yoga mat like you're a little kitty cat. And then inhaling back to tabletop. Exhale here as we curl the toes under. Inhale to lift the knees just a few inches up off the mat. Really engaging belly muscles here, drawing navel to spine. Engage your pelvic floor muscles. So if you've ever done a Kegel, which are the muscles we use if you're trying to urinate and then you stop the flow of urine, those are the muscles, the pelvic floor muscles. For men, it feels basically like squeezing your anus muscles. For women, it's more inside, like the uterus region. But everyone has it. Everyone has a pelvis. So everyone has pelvic floor muscles. Squeezing those. And exhale, releasing down, knees come wide, big toes to touch to complete the energetic circuit. Walking the fingertips out away from the body, kneading the mat like you're a little kitty cat. You can surrender the weight of the forehead down to the mat for a few breaths, breathing into the stretch in the armpit region. Exhale, inhale, coming back up to table one more time. We'll inhale to lift the knees up off the mat, squeezing, engaging the belly here. Really pushing the mat away from you, puffing up through the back of the heart. So not collapsing down into the shoulders, but really wrapping those elbows underneath the body. So the eyes of the elbows are pointing forward here. If you were to bend your elbow, it would be bending back directly toward your body, not out to the sides, but back. Pressing down through all 10 fingers. Pushing away from the mat and engaging those pelvic floor muscles. As you breathe, almost done. One more inhale. Exhale, curl the toes under, back to downward facing dog. Walking out your dog, taking a moment to settle in here, enjoying the first downward facing dog of your practice. So you can bend the left knee, straighten the right leg fully as you breathe into the stretch in the right hamstring. Inhale. Exhale, bending the right hamstring, pressing strongly through the full length of the left leg, breathing into that left hamstring.
waking up the legs, and then walk it out for a few breaths. And then take a peek at your hands. They should be shoulders width distance apart. Really pressing down through the L shape of your index finger and thumb. And then spinning, rotating your outer arms away from the midline of the body. As you press down, release the crown of the head down to the mat. And now imagine someone has a string attached to your sacrum, which is the hips, right at the top of the hips here, and is pulling you up to the sky by your sacrum. So belly draws in. Think forehead to big toes, chest to knees. Your heels do not have to touch here. It's more about lengthening the spine. Breathing into this lengthening. One more inhale. Exhale, bend the knees, look at the hands, step the feet up to meet the hands. Inhale, halfway lift, flat spine. One long line of energy shines out from the crown of the head and out through the tailbone. Shoulders roll down the back, connect behind. Exhale, forward fold. You can bend the knees deeply here. You can grab hands to elbows, using the weight of the arms to pull down the body as you sway. Again, finding intuitive motion here. You can move the hips, you can bend one knee and then the other. Whatever movement feels good for you to release that low back. And then coming to stillness, again using the weight of the arms to pull the torso down, pressing into all four corners of the feet, so pressing evenly through the balls of the feet and the heels. Release the crown of your head down to the mat. So notice if you're looking forward here, we want to release that top of the head down to release the neck as well. And then you can have the knees bent generously here, or if you feel like you're ready for more flexibility and it doesn't hurt, you can breathe deeply as we begin to extend the legs. Full deep inhale here. Exhale, stick out the tongue, let it out. And then inhaling, halfway lift. So in halfway lift, our hands can be on our shins or our thighs, anywhere on the legs except for the knees, using the arm strength to pull our spine a little bit longer. If you have the flexibility, you can also come down onto a block here or on the floor. Again, neck is an extension of the spine, so reaching the neck out long. And exhale, bending the knees generously, releasing the crown of the head down to the mat, forward fold. And then slowly, one vertebrae at a time, we'll begin to stand up, so stacking hips over knees, shoulders over hips, slow body roll. You can roll the shoulders down and open, thumbs spinning toward the back of the mat. As you open the chest, shining up toward the sky, belly is engaged here, bringing the head directly over the shoulders. Full body engagement in our Tadasana mountain pose. Take a peek down at the feet, lift up all 10 toes and set down the toes, starting with the big toe, one at a time. And lift again, starting with the pinky toes, set down the toes one at a time. And grounding again. If your feet are rectangles, we're grounding evenly through all four corners of the rectangle, really drawing that belly in. Notice what your tailbone is doing. We want to just curl it gently under, tuck it in, everything sucked into the midline of the body. Strong mountain pose here. Breathing for a moment. And we'll just do 1 round of Surya Namaskar A on each side. So inhale, arms reach, looking gently up if that's comfortable in the neck. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat spine. Exhale, stepping back with the right foot, coming into a runner's lunge here. So in runner's lunge, we want our left knee at a right angle, the left knee right over the left ankle. And see if you can shine your heart up and forward. If you'd like, you can release that back knee down. Not collapsing into the hands here, but really finding a lift. You can energetically draw the thigh bones together as you lift your chest up to the sky. If you're feeling balanced and stable here, you can lift the arms up overhead. Smiling, bringing peace in the chaos. Lifting up through those pelvic floor muscles. Strong engagement in both legs as the shoulder blades plug down into the shoulder sockets. 1 more inhale here, and exhale, fingertips back to the floor, stepping back into a plank pose. In plank, shoulders aligned directly over the wrists, coming up onto the toes. See if you can find some buoyancy here. A little bit of lightness, using the muscles to pull yourself up off the mat, so we're not collapsing into the joints here, but finding that strength through the midline. And then letting both knees down, elbows will bend back in toward the belly as we slowly lower down knees, chest and chin. And inhaling cobra. Big toes come to touch. Thighs and tops of feet pressing down as we strongly engage the back body. Elbows sucking into the sides of the ribs. Looking forward, long neck, not crunching down. We're looking in, but looking straight ahead. 1 more inhale, and exhale forward, forehead to mat. Curl the toes under. Inhale, pressing up. You can come through a tabletop position as you move back into downward facing dog. Feet hips width apart in dog. Taking a moment to walk it out, settle in. And then coming up onto the balls of the feet, imagining that string attached to your sacrum, pulling you up to the sky, pressing through the hands. Forehead to toes, heart to knees, in down dog. Allowing the blood to reverse its flow. And then we'll inhale, right leg up. Exhale, stepping it through. So we're coming into a runner's lunge on the other side here. Again, right degree angle, 90-degree angle, with the right knee directly over the right ankle. You can keep that back knee up or set it down, energetically drawing the thigh bones together as you begin to shine the heart up toward the sky, to the front of the mat. Pinning the hips in toward the center line of the body, engaging belly to help you balance. You can always have the hands down at the mat if it's too hard to balance. If you're feeling really stable, you can bring the arms up and overhead, gently looking up if that's comfortable on your neck. 1 more breath here. And exhale, hands back to the mat, stepping left foot up to meet the right, forward fold. You can bend the knees generously here, releasing crown of the head down. Inhale, half lift, flat spine, 1 long line of energy. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale slowly with control, rolling up vertebrae by vertebrae. Shoulders roll down the spine, head comes up last, belly engaged. So if I were to come and press on your chest in this pose, you wouldn't fall over because you're strong like the mountain. Inhale, arms reach up, look up. Exhale, forward fold. Knees can bend here as deeply as you need. Inhale, half lift, flat spine. Exhale, stepping back with the left foot first this time, so coming back into that same runner's lunge. Checking knee alignment. You can set that back knee up or down. Inhaling, if you're stable, arms come up. Few breaths here. And then continuing to energetically draw the thigh bones together, drawing the pelvic floor muscles up. We'll bring the hands down to the mat, starting to extend that front leg, Ardha Hanumanasana here, half splits pose. So the toes on the right foot are drawing back toward the face, drawing our right hip back as our left hip comes forward, both hips pinning into the center line, breathing into the stretch in the hamstring here on the right. Enjoying. And then walking the feet back forward. We'll step back for our plank position. So knees up or down in plank pose, finding buoyancy here in the muscles. And then knees, chest, chin. Inhale, cobra, pressing down through the legs. Shoulders rolling back, shining out through the heart. Exhale, forehead to mat. Rolling toes under, coming back into downward facing dog. Walking out your dog for a moment, and then sending it back. Lifting the hips to the sky, pressing through the hands. Can shake the head yes and no, releasing the neck. Crown of the head reaches for the earth. Looking at the big toes. Deep inhale, exhale, stick out the tongue, let it out. Ha! One more deep full inhale. Exhale, stick out the tongue. Ha! And then left leg comes up. Sweep it through for a runner's lunge. If it doesn't make it there, you can grab the foot and bring it through with your hands. Runner's lunge, 90-degree angle on the left knee. Back knee can be up or down as you shine the heart forward. Energetically drawing thigh bones together, pelvic floor muscles lift, belly engaged. If you're feeling stable, arms sweep up to the sky. Smiling, up at the ceiling, up toward the ceiling, not all the way up. Keeping that back of the neck aligned with the rest of your spine. Don't want to crunch the neck. And then bringing the hands down to the mat as we extend that left foot. Left toes drawing back to the face. Drawing that left hip back. Right hip forward. Both hips pinning in toward the center line. Ardha Hanumanasana on the left. You can flex and point the foot if that feels good. You can even take ankle rolls. Breathing into sensation here. One more inhale. Exhale, coming back to lunge and stepping forward. Forward fold. Bending the knees as much as you need to. Releasing crown of the head down. Inhale, half lift, flat spine. Really pressing down through the feet. Exhale, forward fold. And then inhale, rolling up vertebrae by vertebrae. Arms reach, gently looking up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Coming to the center of your mat. Take a moment to roll out and shake out the legs. And then bringing the feet a little bit wider than hips width. We'll point the toes out to the sides as we start to come down into a squat pose. So if your knees are sore, or if you have problems with your knees, this might be your squat pose, and that's beautiful. You could play with some arm variations here. If you feel comfortable coming down further, you can do so. Just making sure that your toes are pointing in the same direction as your knees. You can bring your hands into a prayer position, elbows pressing into the knees, knees pressing into the elbows, both palms pressing strongly together. This is a great pose to release the low back and lengthen the whole spine. Press into your heels so much that your hips lift up just an inch. This will ensure that your legs are fully engaged. And again, pulling in the belly muscles, pulling in the pelvic floor muscles. Breathing for just one more moment. And then we'll make our way to a seated pose any way you'd like. I'm going to reach my arms forward and then back behind me, slowly with control making my way to a seat. And we'll bring the shoulders back behind us, fingertips facing forward. Or if it's more comfortable for your shoulders, you can have the fingertips facing out to the sides or all the way back. That's the most heart opening. And just for a moment, we'll inhale, lift the hips up to the ceiling, pressing strongly into the heels as you lift, opening the heart space, keeping the neck looking straight up. And if you have the strength to do it with control, you can lower the head back as you push through the hips and breathe. Inhale, exhale, lowering the hips slowly with control down to the mat, head comes up. And then flipping our fingertips back toward the body. We'll take a little hip opener here. So bringing the right ankle to the left knee. And maybe this is where you'd like to be today. Breathing into the stretch in the right hip flexor. You can find a little side to side movement here as you draw the right toes back to the right knee. Or if you'd like to make it a little bit more intense, you can come up to more of a figure four stretch. Just interlacing the hands behind the left knee, drawing the heart forward and up, drawing the spine long as you breathe. And then we'll bring the hands back behind us, keeping the legs as they are. We'll bring both legs down to the left. Adjusting the legs so that you can get both hips sitting on the floor. So we want both hips evenly pressing onto the floor here. And you can move the legs a little bit in order to do that. We'll grab onto that right knee to pull our spine long. Inhale. Exhale, twisting. Now bringing that right hand back behind you. Inhale, spine comes long. Exhale, twisting over the right shoulder. If you'd like more here, you can lift both arms up off the mat, making sure that the twist is coming from the center of the body, the core muscles rather than the arms. And using the core muscles in your belly and back to keep that spine drawing up long and tall as you breathe, keeping both hips pressing firmly into the mat. One more inhale here, and exhale, twist a little deeper, look a little farther over that right shoulder. Inhale, and exhale, unwinding, bringing your feet back to the center. We'll windshield wiper the knees back and forth. Enjoying. I'll flip around so I can face you. And then this time we'll take the left ankle onto the right knee, really pressing into the full length of both arms to push our hearts up toward the sky, keeping our spine long. And maybe this is enough for you. Flexing those left toes back to the left knee,
as you find a little movement here, swaying, breathing into the left hip flexor. And then if you'd like to go deeper, you can grab interlacing the hands behind the right knee, using the arms again to pull your spine long. You can gently use that left elbow to push the left knee away from the body, away from the torso. Breathing deeply, always checking in with the breath. And then bringing the hands back behind you. We'll set both knees down. It'll be to your right side. And then moving into our twist, finding a position with the legs where we can have both hips firmly planted onto the mat. So even weight in both hips. And grabbing onto that left knee to pull our spine long and tall. We'll inhale here, exhaling, twisting to the left. Bring that left hand back behind you. We'll inhale, coming tall. Exhale, twist a little more, looking over the left shoulder. Inhale, spine long. Exhale, twist a little more. If you'd like more, you can lift the arms up off the mat, ensuring that the twist is coming from the belly muscles here, rather than just the arms. Inhale, tall. And exhale, twist a little more, looking over the left shoulder more. One more inhale, and exhale, unraveling everything back to center. Put the feet back onto the mat. We'll windshield wiper the legs one more time. And then bringing the arms out alongside the body. If you don't have any back problems, you can start to lower down from here. If you do have back problems, please just use your arms and lower yourself all the way down to the mat. Any way that works best for your body today. Lowering slow with control, mindful movement always. If we were in a room together, I'd say the last person down wins. And head comes down last. So I'm going to do a little inversion here. If you'd like, you can just do legs straight up, pressing the shoulders down, pressing the full length of the arms down into the mat. If you'd like to do legs up the wall and you have a wall conveniently close to you, all you need to do is come to the wall with your hips as close to the wall as you can, and then moving on to the back, we'll lift the legs straight up, and you can just rest the legs onto the wall and just allow your torso to do whatever feels comfortable, and just hang out here for as long as you'd like, really. So if you don't have a wall, you can do the first pose that I showed, where you literally just have your legs straight up. You can also use a blanket underneath you or a pillow to give yourself a little bit of height, and that just looks like preparing for bridge, bringing the prop underneath your hips and then lifting the legs up from there. You can roll the shoulders gently down to the mat and underneath you. Breathing deeply here. If you're not using the wall, this will be a very slight core engagement and leg engagement. If you are using the wall, this is a beautiful rest pose. You're getting the same benefits either way. Breathing deeply as the blood and lymph fluid drains down from the legs back into the heart and lungs. Breathing deeply will facilitate the exportation of toxins from that blood and lymph, and exhale it out through the breath.
and it will bring fresh blood and prana, fresh oxygen into those fluids. So it's always very important to breathe deeply in every yoga pose, but especially inversions for that cleansing purpose. Most toxins in the body actually get released through the breath. And if you're using the wall and you'd like to stay at the wall, if you're really enjoying that, feel free to do so. Otherwise, make your way into Shavasana, final resting pose, anywhere you like. Toes splay out, palms can be down to the earth for grounding or facing up to the sky to receive. If you're having any low back pain here, you can bend the knees, knock knees in toward each other with the feet out wide to relieve pressure on the back. Deep inhale here and full exhale. Shavasana is the most important pose in our yoga practice. Enjoy for a few breaths. And then blinking the eyes open, you can draw the knees in toward the belly, grabbing onto the knees, pulling them in toward the chest, rocking side to side. Give yourself a little back massage here. And if it's comfortable, you can rock front to back a few times, stimulating the entire length of the spine. And then using the momentum to sit up. You can have your blanket or pillow, put it underneath your hips once again. Coming up tall, bringing the eyes to a close. Returning to our deep, slow, smooth breath. Bringing hands to heart center. We'll join our voices once more in the divine sound of Om. Full exhale and inhale for Om. Inhale. Om. You are serene. You are peaceful. You are calm. Taking a moment to send this positive energy that we've cultivated in our practice today out to all beings everywhere. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. Namaste. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Lovely to share practice with you. I would love to hear your feedback and anything you'd like to say. You can send me a message on Facebook or Instagram. My handle on Instagram is livity_yogini. And I'll post my link tree with all of my links for my Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and my art resources in the description. Hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. So much love and blessings. Namaste.